When our core wounds meet the physical world, it offers us the opportunity to heal from the trauma and the emotional wear and tear we have endured in this lifetime. How many core wounds are there to heal? In this podcast series, we will talk about them all, healing the emotional core wounding, including the mother wound, the primal wound, so we can walk in our medicine to be the healers that we all are. Join podcast host, confidence coach Susan Axelrod with her very special guest, Kornelia Stephanie. This podcast is one for the ages, living beyond the core wounds. Well, friends, good to have you with us again. In the last episode, Kornelia and I got into such a deep and heavy discussion about this core wound of survival that all of a sudden at the end, I realized that the time had come to end the podcast. And I'm like, oh, we have to do a part 2 on this very deep, powerful, and profound wound of survival to help viewers and listeners move through that energy field to the place that we want to be, which is thriving. How do you go from surviving to thriving? It begins with your thoughts and asking yourself what you want. How do you want to be? And then from there, you go through this process that Kornelia is teaching us and sharing with us and helping us to understand that we can actually move from an old way of being to a new way of being, the way it is that we want to be. So hello, Kornelia. Thank you for joining me again today. This is a good one, isn't it?
It is. I just feel so inspired. I feel so excited to talk about this. Every time I get with you, Susan, I always feel like, we have such good synergy. I'm so grateful to you. I feel like you are, you're my mate in co-creation of the new earth. And I just want everybody to hear it, that I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for showing up in my life when you did back in, was that in 2019, maybe?
Yeah, 2019.
When we did the Change Your Mind Summit.
Yeah.
And that was so cool that the TTR Network, Transformation Talk Radio, Jessica introduced us. She said, I think you're going to really like Susan. You need to know Susan. And so this has been so great. And since that time, we've done many amazing things together.
Many amazing things and countless podcasts. I mean, it's so fun sharing this wisdom. Why are we here? We are here to share the wisdom gleaned and gained from our life experiences to support the humanity and energy of our world today, to go forward and go forth in a more positive way, a way that's better for humankind and the earth and the environment. In the last episode, we're talking about how do you just go from surviving? You shared with me that you grew up in poverty. And of course, when you're actually in financial poverty, then you're truly in a surviving mode. You shared that even the food you ate was scarce and that you literally, need food to survive. So how could that not create this energy that coursed through the little human that was you, grew up to the adult, to stick with you, Energy sticks with us unless or until it is cleared. And that's really what we're talking about today.
You said earlier, it has to first happen with our thoughts. That's an important piece, because what is it that we're thinking about our world, the world we live in? Look at the world we live in right now and look at how inflamed and chaotic it is, and how so many people right now are living in survival mode. How many people are living in survival mode. And that's so true. So it has to do with your thoughts. But ultimately, in order to be released from the survival feeling, the feeling of, I feel so, because the feeling is what's going to make you act. The feeling's what's going to make you project. The feeling is what's going to make you feel secure or not secure, make you feel safe or not safe. And so if your emotional body is still coming from a place of surviving, then if that's what you're going to be acting out so you can see it. It's easier to change our thinking than it is to change our feeling, because the feelings hurt. And in
Mm.
order for us to really move out of the uh, scarcity mindset and feeling, we really have to feel the lack consciousness that is there. So, that is the piece. The big piece is we have to bring our feeling body into it, and then use our feeling body and our thoughts to change what it is that we are perceiving in our reality. You could look at the survival template as an old toxic relationship with a man.
Okay.
Right? You could look at it like that, like, uh, with this relationship, I've only been able to survive here. I've never been able to thrive here. I've never been able to thrive here in this relationship, and I really want out of this. I want to be thriving. And when we say we want to be thriving in a relationship, we want to be in right relationship and thriving with abundance and resources and our divine birthright, our right. And we want to be honored and loved and appreciated in truth. And so that is what the universe is. That is what Mother Nature is. She's so abundant in her resources, in her giving, in her uh, resources, that is how we are too. But we also have to match with our consciousness and our feeling that we're a match for what is already there and for what is already within us. But again, if we're coming from a place of scarcity, of lack of consciousness, of I'm only surviving, this is my story, this has been my story, I was born into this, I'll never get out of this. That is the 3D narrative of the Matrix, where they want to keep you there so that you can be victimized and that you can carry on that agenda, which is certainly has worked for many, many, many thousands of years to live in
Yeah.
survival. But remember, I'm here. Me personally, I'm here for the new earth. That's all. That's all. I'm only here for the new earth. I'm here to transcend this old earth out of my physical experience and co-create the new. And that's why I'm here. I didn't come here to die in poverty.
Amazing. So the analogy that you made of looking at the survival wound as a toxic relationship with the man, you said, I happen to have women clients, so I don't have any gay clients right now, though I have in the past. But I happen to have a few women clients who are in toxic relationships or marriages, usually marriages with men. And the energy came up for me when you made that analogy that this is exactly right, because that other person, in this case, the man we're referring to, has a vested interest in keeping you down in that toxic energy to be over you. Not
Power
to be,
over,
yeah,
power
right,
over.
to power over you. That's exactly right. That's exactly the way it is. And then you, underneath the power, feeling powerless, are just trying to survive in that, in that space that you're in. So that's a very apt analogy right now for us to really be able to describe this feeling. There's many other reasons that you are in survival mode, including, like you said, for yourself, in your case, growing up in financial poverty. In my case, I was talking about this at the end of the last episode. I lived a very blessed and privileged life, but for some reason, whether it was family imposition, family legacy, ancestral legacy, the heritage of my people, so to speak, I always had this feeling like a type A perfectionism. I had to do more and this and that. And then I did a lot of things, right? I was busy doing things. And then I put myself, I would say, into the survival mode where I have to survive all the things that I created. And then why did I pull in? Why did I call in? Why did I go into the doing space so much? Was to cover the feeling space underneath, which is exactly what you talked about with us. Um, I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. It just came up. Cornelia teaches us you have to feel to heal. You heal from feeling, you feel to heal. And I told you in a conversation with my daughter, Rebecca, about this. She was like, yeah, but first you have to deal. You have to deal with it. You have to deal. And that's what you said to us before. You go into it, you face it. In our last episode, you were talking about, you have to really feel it, sit in it, be with it, and face it. And so my daughter is like, yeah, you have to deal to feel to heal. And that's what we are doing here today, Cornelia. This conversation, this moment in time, it doesn't matter when anybody's listening or watching this, we are offering out tips, tools, strategy, resources, energy, wisdom to help people who feel like they are just surviving to know that there's this emotional processing technique that you offer to be able to feel better.
Yeah. I mean, with Rebecca saying that, you have to deal. What that brings up for me is that you are ready now. You are ready now to face and actually have bandwidth to deal with it.
Mm.
And that means that, okay, now sit and see what it feels like. Because honestly, when you look at all the pain and everything that we have to release, all the pain that we have to feel to heal, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's been a lot. And a lot of people, with their addictions, they're still trying to numb up the physical body to keep themselves from actually feeling everything, because it's just so much more gratifying and so much easier to drink or smoke or do addictions or gamble or play games or avoid in order to feel to heal, in order to deal with what is here, in order to face with what is here. But we came to transcend all of this energy, and because we're empowered creators and we already have everything that we need within, and it's already all here. And so we can do it. We just have to be ready for it. It's just like the alcoholic that's ready now to let go and finally give it up and give it up and finally look at what the core roots are, what's there in the core that you've been avoiding all this time, to feel and deal and feel and heal and face and feel, what it is. It's like, it's that whole thing. What is it that you're ready to face in your life right now? And you have to remember that we're doing two things. It's very simple: the 3D world or the 5D world. The 3D world, the old earth, is the matrix. It's fear, it's survival. There's no possibility. It's running around the hamster wheel, chasing, 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 running after, trying to make ends meet. Going from survival to the new earth of thriving in abundance, living in your birthright, co-creating the new, collaborating with other people. What does it mean to thrive in your gifts, in your spirituality, in your truth, in your abundance, in God's love, in Source's light? What does it mean to live there in relationship and co-creating in the new earth in this way? What does that mean? And are you applying, the consciousness of the thriving energy in your life? And basically, the way to look at it is, is I'm going to bring it back again to the spirituality, because that's really where it began for me, uh, living my highest truth, living source's light. The highest form of truth in the universe is abundance and prosperity and unity and unconditional love and thriving. That is the promise. That is the promise. It's not the lack. It's not the limitation. It's not the decay. It's not the not going anywhere. It's not the being in a prison. It's the opposite of all of that. But those are things that you have to realize and make time for and make space to contemplate on what it means to you. And the reason I'm talking like this is because I have made space to know what it means to me and where I'm living in this new earth, in this heaven on earth, and what I've lived here and what it's like here. So you can look at it as saying where I'm living with the consciousness that I'm expressing, with the embodiment that I'm walking in, that this is how we live over here. And now we want to invite others to come and join us to live over here and co
Exactly.
with us the new earth. But it's not going to come from a third dimensional perspective, because that's the old.
I mean, I'm so wanting the people who are listening and viewing to, I had to reach for my pad because I take notes, and I ran out of my page, to really listen again and listen again to these conversations that we're having and take notes for themselves. Just recently, Cornelia, my sister put something in our sibling text about something about living the life you want, something about what is it that you want, something about, I don't know, some motivational thing that she read somewhere or something. And I said to them, it's hard for me to think about something that I want that I don't have,
Mm-hmm.
because for you and me,
Yeah.
or for you and I'm not sure which of those is grammatically correct. For us, we're in the spiritual. Don't get me wrong. I like a nice manicure every now and then. I like to be able to pay for healthy food, or, travel to see family or whatever. But when you're in this spiritual, you said it comes back to spirituality. When you're in this spiritually sound, healed place, your life is revealed in such a way that you don't have this, I call it an unrequited, something that you want, but you can't have this unrequited feeling and yearning of something other than this. When you're in that survival mode, you want anything other than this. You want. You're desperately seeking, anything just to survive. But I'm like literally a living, breathing organism example of how you can move into another place where everything feels perfect, even though it's not necessarily perfection. And God knows I've had my own traumas. Of course, nobody is unscathed in that way, but still in all, when it comes down to it, when you do what you're offering us the opportunity to do, which is feel it, sit with it, sit in it, face it, think about it, acknowledge it, work through it, make your choice by choice by choice, and change your mindset to imagine that you could deserve something. Hard to do when you're coming from survival. Then you can be living beyond the core wound of just surviving to whatever you consider thriving. And thriving is a very subjective word as well. Somebody who's in unsafety living, for you shared with us that you grew up in financial poverty. So the fact that you might be able to afford healthy food for yourself, which is very expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That may be like the ultimate thing for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. but you said it already. You said when it's going to come down to being in a place when you referred to your sister of saying about the dream, and you said it's hard for me to imagine of something that I don't already have. That right there is key to what we're talking about. You already said it. I just love this, Susan. This is so good. You said it already. It's hard for me to imagine something that I don't already have. It's because you are already embodying that consciousness now, and you already are living it, in that you already see the abundance of the thriving in your life, whether it is, your manicure or whatever. You're not running around in the rat race chasing the survival. You know that anytime that you want to get yourself a manicure, you could get your manicure, but you already have the manicure within, per se, that you already think, and that I can, and that I am, and then you will go and have that experience, whatever it is, because you've shifted your consciousness. And really, when it comes down to uh, are you surviving or you're thriving, it has to do with your consciousness. And don't forget about the feelings have to match the bottom line. But I'm going to bring this thing back. You saw this thing this morning when we were in our KS media meeting, and I'm going to bring that back because it's about what you just said. And
I'm taking myself out of the frame, Kornelia, so you can have a bigger frame.
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead.
Look at what this says here in the center. Let me see. Look at what it says here in the center. In the center, it says, I am. And so the I am that is who is in the center.
Right.
The I am is in the center. And that goes again to what you were just saying right now. If the I am wants the good food, if the I am wants the manicure, that's what the I am is going to. So you're not coming from a thinking part that there is something out there that you can't have. You're coming from the place of I am. And like I told you, you've known this, that, my word for the year, I've done this before back in the 2015 or 2016 when I was integrating the I am into my life. I was using the word of I am in the integration of my that year, whatever year that was, and I decided to do it again this year because I thought such a pivotal year, 2023, the year of demolition, releasing all the outdated structures that no longer serve my sovereignty, my creation, and letting go and watching the world, out there, things falling apart. Before we came on the podcast today, there was this card that somebody gave me, and it's really cute. And it says on there, it says, outwardly, there's chaos. Inwardly, a new world is stirring. Listen to the heartbeat of the new. So, that's what we're doing in co-creating our new earth. But again, coming back to the I am is not in survival. The I am is not in survival. The I am is in thriving. And so that's an important piece.
We have someone we know who doesn't need to be named, and also, there's the one person we know mutually, but there's so many people who are in such a down position. It just feels like you can't even imagine. They can't hear what we're saying. And from the place of such difficulty, and in circumstances of life that we're both within and also very much not in their control. That happens also. And I'm thinking of some of these people. I mentioned to you, Kornelia, that the clients who are finding me seem to have so many more problems that are deeper than I have dealt with before. I have done so much work myself that I feel equipped. I am equipped to manage these coaching client relationships. I'm not a therapist, but I'm in observation of it, in witness to how people are in fact struggling. And you said it today. You said it before. There's so many people today who are just surviving, and so this idea of the breakthrough that we're talking about does start with the consciousness that you might be in the I want. The transformation, the transmuting is in fact in the I am. But we could at least open our eyes and see, take those blinders off. Like the survival is like living with these blinders on. You can only see right here, like right in front of you, just trying to survive the day for some people. This is, of course, very extreme, but we, through our discussion, through our commitment, we're showing up here. You and I, this is the 17th episode we've done.
Wow.
And that doesn't include our planning hours, our thinking hours, our consciousness. We've both listened to the episodes. I started doing this because of after meeting Kornelia and reading her book, which is called Peace, the Flip Side to Anger. And the emotional processing technique is right in this book. I read that first. I started using it. And then I reached out to Kornelia. We knew each other, but then I reached out to her in this capacity myself. I reached out to her in this capacity to help me deal with some emotional processing. That's why I'm sponsoring this. That's why I wanted to get this material out there. So whether to our listeners and to our viewers, whether you are deep in the just surviving or higher up in, I'm pretty good, but there's still some survival stuff in me from my background. We want to invite you to pay attention to yourself, come to your conscious awareness. Imagine, that something might be able to be different for you if you took charge, if you became what Kornelia calls the empowered creator, where you are in charge of yourself. And I'm here to say it can be done.
Yeah. And what's so cool about everything you just said is once we really release all of these core woundings, and like I said in many of the podcasts before, not everybody has all of them,
Yeah.
I came to volunteer in this life to clear these core woundings for our collective. I came here to do this work. I came here to do it. That was I came in with this assignment, and that was my mission, and I did that, and it has been amazing. That's why I can actually now hang up my hat and go do whatever I want. I don't have to do another thing because I have done my service in that sense of I have transcended the consciousness out of the physical body, because now once that cellular energy exists, it is now possible for others. And that's the thing. So all the work you're doing, don't think it's not helping other people, because it does ripple out. It does change things. So that's why I'm not, the fact that I'm even here having these conversations, I wouldn't even need to do this, because the cell memory, the cell energy exists on this planet, and it's here, and nothing else, it's already done. On my standpoint, I don't need to per se do another thing, because all of these core woundings have been cleared out. I hope that makes some kind of sense. It makes sense to me.
Well, I wanna, it makes sense to me because I have been working on clearing some of the core wounds that got generated in me from the ocean I swam in, from growing up, from family expectations, from society expectations, from my life's experiences, from ancestral legacy, from all the things. So it surely makes sense to me. I want to end today's discussion bringing up something that I have I've discussed before, and I'm bringing it up again because it's so important. And it speaks exactly to what we're talking about right now. And that is, in Kornelia's book, she writes that there are symptoms of inner peace. Symptoms of inner peace. And there's a list of them, and I'll put them on the podcast notes. Symptoms of inner peace. We're used to symptom being a bad thing. We're used to the symptoms of feeling just surviving. And that's how I want to leave you today, friends, to let you know that you can go from surviving with symptoms of illness, symptoms of sadness, leading to depression, anxiety, physical ailments as a result, and that you can know and learn. And we're here to share that you can move through to a clearer, positive space, a being, energy field, and have symptoms of inner peace. So Kornelia, thank you so much as always. What a wonderful conversation. Already looking forward to our next episode, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.